Hello everybody and welcome back. So in this video today I want to talk a little bit about CSS filter effects and how they can help you bring your CSS skills to the next level. So they allow you to do various things such as change the brightness or opacity of an image, and there's much more values. They provide us a various number of values such as sepia, opacity, and I have it down here. So these are all of them that I have typed for you. So let's go over what each of them are. So I have 4 images here: a sunset, which is this right here, a wolf, and then just a random person and another person. And I applied some CSS filters to them, and I just used Flexbox to position them, and yeah, just basic CSS styles. So let's take a look at the first one, which is our sunset. So what are we doing here? So basically I gave it a grayscale of 10. So if you give it a grayscale of anything greater than 100%, which is 1, so if you give it anything greater than 1, then it's going to look gray. Let's try reducing this down to maybe 0.7. Now if you refresh, you'll notice that it's not completely gray anymore. There's still some color, and I can also get rid of this contrast and see what happens. So that just sort of takes away some of its brightness. And the wolf is probably my favorite one because it completely flips the image inside out, I guess you could say, because when you invert it 100%, then it's going to be the inverted version of what it was before. So if I set this back to 0, then it should just be the original image itself. But if I set it to 10%, it's just only partially inverted, so you don't really notice it. It's very subtle. Let's try 30%. And now you can see there's like a faint gray curtain sort of blocking out some of the wolf. And now let's go over Hue Rotate. I'm pretty sure that's how you pronounce it. So there's a bunch of colors that comes with this value. You can use any values from 0 degrees to 360 degrees. I'm not sure what each degrees will correspond to its color, but what color will correspond to a certain degree value, but you can mess around with it and see what happens. So right here I set 180 degrees Hue Rotate for this person right here in the sunglasses. So if I change this to maybe something a little higher, maybe 270, then now he's sort of purplish. Or maybe we can go lower to 90, and now he's green. So you can mess around with that as well and see what that does. And there's filter Saturate. So I gave this person right here a saturate value of 800%. So his face is very blurry and very orangish pink, so you can't see him very well. His face is very hard to see since it's kind of blurry. And you can change this to 10%, and now it acts sort of the same way when you set the value of this saturate property to be lower than 100%, because if you set it lower, then it's just going to act like grayscale, and if you set it anything higher, then it's just going to start blending colors together. And 100%, that's just going to be the original image itself. And as you gradually increase, you're going to notice that the image will change a little bit. And now you see his face is a lot more yellow than before. And as we keep increasing this to 300, it's starting to become even more yellow, maybe 500. Soon we're going to have a hard time seeing his face. Let's bump it up to 3000. And now you can't even see his face anymore. All you see are his eyes. And his face is completely red like a demon. And it also affects the background as well, so that's what Saturate does. And there's URL. You can just insert in a URL, maybe a Google image link, or maybe just an image from your file, like what I'm doing here. So I have a file called newpractice.html, and there's not a file. So I have a folder called newpractice.html. That's what I named it. And inside of that folder, I have a file named person2.jpg. So that's what I typed, and that's what it pulled up for me into my browser. So that's how you insert HTML images into your browser. And there's sepia, but I don't use that very often, so I don't know I don't really know what that does, but we can give it a try. So I'm just going to type sepia and do maybe 10 degrees. So sepia, it just turns everything gray and makes the background yellow. Well, on mine that's what it's doing, but it may behave differently on different images, I don't know. So if we make this lower, then it still looks sort of the same. There's not much difference with 3 and 10. But let's try 100. Yeah, that's about all sepia does. It just turns your background yellow, light yellow. And we also have brightness, and I think you guys already know what this does without me even having to tell you. So brightness, you can just set a certain number of pixels, maybe 10 pixels. Not pixels, my bad, just a value. And 10 just means 1000%. So it's going to be 1000% brighter than what it was before. So now you can't even see his face anymore either. It looks sort of like he's wearing a mask, a face mask. You can't see his face at all except his hair and his jacket. And the background is completely white except for this little part right here. And that's basically what brightness does. We can lower it to something lower than 1, so 0.5. And now it acts sort of like grayscale, but it doesn't turn anything gray. It just dims the image a little bit, but that's all it does. It doesn't actually make the image gray or anything. And let's see what else we have. Oh, we have box shadow, so you have to give in the X value, the Y value. Oh, my bad. And also the color. So let's try it out. Let's try it out with this person, with this guy right here. So we're gonna type drop shadow, and maybe let's try 8 pixels, 8 pixels, 10 pixels gray. And now as you notice, that gave our image a gray shadow that is shifted 8 pixels down and 8 pixels to the right, since we gave our first value a value of 8, which will move it 8 pixels to the right, since this is our X value and this is our Y value, so this will move it down 8 pixels. And 10 pixels, that's just our blur value that we gave it. We can increase this, and now the shadow is much more prominent. And we can decrease it to make it less prominent, maybe 5 pixels. And if you don't even give the blur at all, then the shadow is just going to be a solid color instead of a blurry color. And that's basically what that does. So I think I went over all the CSS filter effects with you guys in this video. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new. If you did, please subscribe and drop a like if you haven't already. And if you're new to this channel, I should have introduced myself at the beginning of the video, but I'm Kenny Mouse, and you can expect to receive daily videos from me, since I will be teaching you various things such as CSS effects and much more, such as JavaScript projects and much more. And this is pretty much it for the video, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed and learned something new. If you did, have a great day, and I'll see you again in my next video.